Really like where we're at right now. I think it's the second time we've gone through the installation of the package, and love the room, and really excited to take this thing all the way into mini camp and then build for the third time that they'll go through it in training camp. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
Coach, can you talk about some of the young corners you have, opposite of Missouri?
Yeah, I like A-Rob initially just come to my mind when you said that. I think he's been doing really well, and they're all competing. It's hard when you sit there and look at all the different corners right now because of how early it is. We haven't even had a practice in pads yet, and also they're not in their top training camp fall shape yet. So, but what I've seen, I really do like. I love that room, and I think we got the best secondary coach in the league, with Jerome Henderson. So I'm excited for that room.
You went through a year last year where it seemed like you were trying to find a new corner every year in this defense.
Yeah.
What kind of lessons did you learn of trying to overcome? I know it's
don't go to DoorDash to find a backup corner. No, I think that you just everything's in perspective, that you have to have a flexible enough scheme that you can make some different changes if you have a guy that hasn't had much playing time or has been a backup or whatever, that you can make some different calls to help that player out. But football is this is a tough profession, and just like I talk about corners all the time, offense coordinators talk about wide receivers. So everybody's drafting wide receivers up top part of the draft. It's a great challenge.
You mentioned Aaron before. What do you like about him on the outside? That was when they drafted him last year, he was seen as an inside guy.
Yeah, I think that from what I've seen, my evaluation with it is the game is slowing down for him like it is any rookie going into his second year. But when you put him outside, I think it slows it down even more, from being inside, because it's like walking in the middle of the street, when you're inside. Compared to outside, you're just standing on the sidewalk. You can see things a lot better, a lot easier.
When you come in, everyone says, okay, Wink's going to bring a pressure package. That's what he believes in. Can you just give a quick thumbnail on what your philosophy is as far as, it's easy to say pressure. A lot of guys like pressure, but you analytically do it more than anybody, basically. So
right.
What is your philosophy about what I want to do to the offense?
Well, I think that you just really answered the question, is you want to dictate to the offense instead of sitting there and let them dictate to you. And, I think that, this game's of adjustments and matchups and everything else, but I would rather them have a headache and stay up, 5 nights before we play them, figuring out, what we're going to do. We try to present different looks every time we play them because, pressure does break pipes, and that's our philosophy. That if you have a great quarterback, you want him to make quick decisions that you're going against. And if you have an average quarterback, you want to change up your different looks, coverage-wise and everything else. But at the end of the day, you want the quarterback on his back. And I don't care if he throws it or not, but if you just get quarterback hits, they know, who they're playing against.
When you present that to players the first time here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I imagine, what was their reaction, especially the guys who have been here before?
Like I said, it's a great room. I really do enjoy that room of players, of people, coaches and the players, and it's just been a lot of fun. And I just tell them who I am. I'm just not one of those guys that's going to drive home and say, I wish I didn't play max coverage there. We're going to put the game in the players' hands, because this game always has been and always will be about the players. And I've said that ever since I've been in this position. So, I think that as long as they know it situationally, what we're going to call, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on Saturday. We'll talk about it on Fridays. But Saturday night meeting, in these situations, here's what we're going to call. Is everybody with us? And you get a lot of success because you're putting the game in the players' hands, and that's what it's about.
Coach, you guys got a lot lengthier on defense as a whole. How does length help you guys defensively?
Well, I always say there's a good place for a small person. It's behind big, long person, you know, in this league because you know, it helps everything. It helps your open field tackling. It helps separating off blocks. You know, it helps going up for the 50-50 ball. You know, so length does play a big part of it. And I thought Joe did a great job, and Dave's with the draft and free agency and the undrafted free agents. It's been a long process. You know, we've been here like 4 months now, but it seems, I was joking with Dave the other day, it seems like we've been together for 4 years. But I mean, that's a good thing. That's how much we're enjoying it here and doing this.
You were obviously in Baltimore for a while. You
What's
were
that?
obviously in Baltimore for a while.
Uh-huh.
You
10
did a lot
years.
of really good things there.
Yep.
What was your reaction when John mentioned to you that he was going to make a change?
John didn't mention it to me. We had some conversations, and you know, there was a lot of change in the league this year, and there's, you know, there's no big secret. I want to become a head coach in this league, and I thought with the different opportunities, with the different changes, that it was, you know, it was mutual. And John, I love John Harbaugh. I mean, he's a brother, and always will be. And Mr. Bisciotti took care of our family for 10 years, and I love that organization. But when this opportunity come about, I just thought, you know, from my time before when I met with Mr. Mara and Mr. Tisch and those guys, this is awesome, an awesome opportunity for us.
What do you remember about that interview, and why was that a positive experience for you?
Just the man that Mr. Mara was, you know, and talking to him, it was just a very comfortable conversation, which he made it comfortable, you know, because you know, I'm interviewing for the head coaching job, and I wasn't comfortable. I was nervous but he made it. It was just a really good conversation that we had for about 4 hours.
After all the success you had in Baltimore, like, what is there left for you to prove to become a head coach, do you think?
It'll happen if it's supposed to happen. I tell my kids this, you know, wherever you're at's where you're supposed to be, and that's the way I feel here now. So I don't know what's in store for us or down the road, and that's a great thing about life. But I know one thing: we're going to have the best Thursday you've ever seen. That's how we look at it defensively.
When people look at this defense, they see the departures that you guys had, most notably James Bradbury and Logan Ryan, and some of the outside perspective is this defense is going to struggle this year. So what would your message be to that perception?
We'll see. We'll see. You know,
Do you prefer Wink or Don? Or
Wink's fine. Yeah, I've been called that since college.
How excited were you that you guys did draft, you know, an edge rusher, Kayvon, with the 5th pick? And what are your expectations for him as a rookie, kind of?
Just to be Kayvon. I mean, as a defensive coordinator, you want every pick to be a defensive player. But I was excited. He was Drew's #1 guy. Drew Wilkins, the outside linebacker coach, and he was my #1 guy coming out of the process. And he's going to be a lot of fun to be around.
What made him your
Just all of his different flexibility, the way we can use him in the scheme, and his pass rush ability. I think that he's a bright, very football smart kid that has a lot of aspirations and goals, and don't we all want our kids to have aspirations and goals? So I've loved him since day one. And
you had another young pass rusher last year in
Adafe?
Yeah. Owe.
Yeah.
And are there any similarities? Like, or is there anything that coachability wise you would relate?
Yeah, they're both great people. You know what I mean? And they're football smart. You know, but they're definitely different. You know, but it's going to be, like I said, a lot of fun to watch.
when you were approached about this job, are you doing a deep dive on what the talent level is here, or do you just simply say I can work with whatever they give me?
I think that you do that. I think that you work with whatever they give you wherever you go. And I think anybody tells you any different is looking you dead in the eye and lying. Because, I've respected, I didn't know Brian, personally. We've been around each other, but I've respected him as a coordinator, as a defensive coordinator going against an offensive coordinator. And I've learned a lot of football in the last 4 months from him. how he looks at things offensively. And let's don't forget, he coached defense too. He coached defense for 5 years, and I really respect him as a man, and I know you guys can see the change of the culture around here. That we're going to have fun, and we're going to play hard nose. We're going to run after the football and tackle people. I guarantee you that we'll play hard as they can play.
In Baltimore, you guys seem like a great linebacker every year. I know he's coming off injury, but what do you see from Blake Martinez here or in the past?
Yeah, Blake's doing everything that you can possibly do to get back on the field. He tells me he's ready to go right now, and I know Ronnie is doing a great job with him, and I really respect Blake and what he's done in this league.
You're obviously a very fiery guy. We all know that. So, just circling back to what before, the idea that people don't have high hopes for this defense. Do you want to prove that wrong? Do you have a fire?
Look, we'll control the narrative. That's what I'll tell you. We control the narrative. People can say what they want to say. We'll see when time to kick it off down there in Nashville. We'll see where we're going to be at by then. But we control the narrative in the room, and I'm excited about this season.